Hi everyone, my name is Anita Wallace and I'm Chair of the Lymphedema Support Network. Thank you for joining us for the 5th in our series of Ask the Expert YouTube videos. This time we put your questions to representatives of some of the main manufacturers of compression garments used here in the UK. Now, in order to be completely transparent, all of these companies also support the work of the LSN by being part of our corporate sponsorship scheme, for which we're very grateful. And for fairness, and because those of you listening may use garments from any or all of the companies represented, we ask them all the same questions and we will share all their answers with you. And this may make it a little bit repetitive, but we've mixed up the order in which they answer. So you will not always have to wait until the end to get the answer from your company representative. And obviously the answers given are the thoughts and opinions of the company in question and do not necessarily reflect the views of the LSN. In our next video, we ask, I am an athlete and told to wear my compression during exercise, but it is so uncomfortable. Do you have any ideas or tips?
Many patients are told to wear compression whilst they're exercising because it does enhance the function of your lymphatic and your venous system, just to aid that drainage and removal of the fluid that may sit within the tissues. However, I'm very much aware that many people report that wearing these garments can be quite uncomfortable during exercise. Personally, I believe that it is important for you to have a variety of garments which you use based on your daily activities. It's always worth discussing this with your therapist to look at options for garments that are more comfortable to be worn during exercise that you would not necessarily use for your day-to-day wear.
While compression should never feel uncomfortable, is it worth having a word with your therapist to ensure that the most appropriate fabric has been used, and maybe you should get them to check the measurements?
So if a garment is uncomfortable whilst you're exercising or you're active, first thing you need to be looking at is whether it fits correctly. So when you're looking at medical garments in particular, you look at the circumferences, so you'll be measured and that will determine the size. You should also be looking at lengths. So if you're measured and the garment's too small, then it's going to cut off circulation and it's just not going to be comfortable at all. You're not going to be able to wear it and you'll be taking off within minutes. If the garment's too large, circumference-wise, then excess material can actually build up, which will then dig into your skin, which again, you can see it's quite common. People usually associate that with it being too small, but that's not actually the case. Looking at length, if a garment's too long, for example, on below knee, then, and I see it quite common, that it can sit so that the garment's actually finishing behind the knee. And that's going to cause irritation, as the below knee garment, as stated, should be finishing below the knee. But that's not necessarily always the case. Also, if the garment's too short, that can be causing issues. So yeah, circumference measurements to determine size. Also looking at the lengths is important. And the final thing I'd look at is the compression class. So I know that if you can tolerate a class 2, fine, you can wear a class 2. But for me personally, I'll actually wear Juicer Adventure class 1 when I'm exercising. I've tried wearing class 2, but for me, I can't tolerate it. You know, it is too tight. So yeah, length, circumference measurements. Then finally, I would suggest looking at the level of compression.